Hello everybody, welcome back. This is JudiciousFire. I am on the iOS server. I'm continuing my multi-part series of the Hero Compendium. That is every hero in the game of Castle Clash. Talents, insignias, enchantments, traits. The build of each hero. We are using the Hero Compendium and chronological release date as our guide through this series. We looked in video 1 at heroes 1 through 12. We are now on heroes 13 through 24. This is video 2. We finished off last time with Grizzly Reaper, Atlanticor, and Snowzilla. We're going to be continuing next with Cupid. As we make our way through the next dozen heroes, you're going to see that their skill ability is becoming more complex. These heroes have a far greater reaching utility in their ability to help the team. They also, for the most part, have skins. And having a skin gives us a second talent option. The choice of talent and insignia and overall build for each hero becomes more complex. It takes a little bit longer. I'm going to try, for brevity's sake, to keep things as low in running time as possible. So we'll just hit the real big things. Cupid. Okay, Cupid. I am running with a 9 Revitalize. At some time in Cupid's life, his ability to immediately buff your team with damage and energy is going to rely on a Revitalize. Instant skill activation. With a Revitalize, you can pair this guy with basically anything. Sometimes he has to deal with stun. That's probably what I would pair him with. You do not want him stunned up, otherwise he can't deliver his buff. Really, by running the Revite as the main talent, any insignia you're going to choose, except for the massive defense insignias, you're going to be getting a statistical bonus running it this way. If I am not going to be relying on a Revitalize and instant skill activation, then I want the complete opposite end of the spectrum as my second option. I want a totally defensive Cupid. Cupid can be used as a hero in general gameplay. I've done guild wars with Cupid in the recent times, but I always had full damage, negation, or reduction on him. The Revite instant skill activation wasn't quite as important in those scenarios. So with the survival, I would probably be running him with a 9 Sacred Light. And it is going to give him big boosts all around and allow him to survive. There's nothing we can do to make his damage increase or his energy increase any better than it is. So keep him alive so he can deliver it multiple times. Equipment. Holy Conviction. Cupid has no ability to heal. Thereby, on his own, he will not receive the benefit of the healing increase. But because there's nothing we can do to make his skill any better at what it does, we are going to give him a 40% damage reduction. Let's keep him alive so he can activate his skill. We are going to give him as much dodge as we can. A dead Cupid provides no energy, no damage, does nothing. You have got to keep this man alive. He's coming in at nearly 50,000 damage, about 1.1 million health. Really nice high dodge rate. Cupid I would call a preferred hero. There are the fun heroes that we like to experiment with. There are the preferred heroes that make certain game modes more efficient, certain processes in this game easier. Cupid is one of those. He is not an essential hero, one that is basically necessary in today's game of Castle Clash. There are other heroes that do similar things to Cupid. Cupid's cooldown also prevents him from stacking his skill like Pumpkin Duke can do, so I would just call him preferred. Next, we have Immortep. Immortep is a hero that just does damage. Now, the nice thing is when he gets to up to his highest skill levels, he is able to increase the damage received by the target or opponent by 14%. Has nearly a Siren or Beast Tamer type skill quality to him. He lacks a skin, so because he has no healing ability and I want to actually use him in some way, I'm going to have to give him survival as his base talent. Got to give him the ability to heal. With the survival, I am running the Sacred Light. Keep him alive so he can at least operate in today's game. By running the Sacred Light as the Insignia, I'm getting some big boosts than if I were running it the other way around. Holy Conviction. He is not a healer. Certainly with the survival, he is gaining the ability to heal, but innately he is not a healer. I'm not concerned with that. I am concerned with the fact that he is getting a 40% damage reduction. That in and of itself makes Holy Conviction the go-to enchantment if you want to actually use this guy in general game mode use. You will also have to give him as much dodge as possible. Keep him out of danger. As he stands now, he is gaining about 50,000 health, 48,000 health, and about 1.2 million, excuse me, about 1.2 million health, about 46,000 damage. Really nice high dodge rate. I'm running Immortep as a defensive hero. In the latter stages of the game, we'll call it endgame, if you will, where we've maxed out our heroes and now we have a chance to choose from among dozens upon dozens of heroes. In today's game, there's no such thing as a damage-dealing Immortep. None of the premier elite heroes at full upgrade will be killed by Immortep. The only way you're going to get him to be effective is by allowing him to live the entire battle. So he gets multiple skill activations. So he gets actual fight time. Thereby, this defensive build, I think, is a logical, wise course of action. Next, we have ourselves Moltanica. Moltanica is a huge debuffer. He also, at highest skill thresholds, gains the ability to heal and does so very effectively. I'm running him because he has a skin. I'm running him in what you might even call the offensive mode, and that is with a Sacred Light. He's an older hero. In order to simply survive the first few seconds, he's got to have some sort of a damage-reducing talent. This also increases his health so he can help to absorb his heals. I'm running him with a regen. Huge attack bonus with the regen. And in addition, a health bonus. And in addition, 130% better healing. He has a cooldown, so the extra energy recovery, while it doesn't hurt, is not going to be any kind of a game changer. If I'm not running him in this mode, I want to give him what we would call the full defensive spread. Give him a second healing ability. Pair that up with maybe a Sacred Light. All of a sudden, we have a Moltanica who, with Holy Conviction, damage reduction, and a 100% healing bonus, is healing multiple times and to hundreds of percent greater than his innate capacity. He becomes a true tank, and he can survive. I have him running with dodge. I would much prefer he stays away from damage than having a larger health pool, say through HP, where he's just able to absorb more damage. I'd rather him not get hit. Something like a Wicked Armor is also a really nice thing to put on Moltanica. Reflect damage can hurt him, and it can be something that you would pair with the Sacred Light, even with the survival. Running it this way, it gives you all of those options, and typically at a big statistical bonus. As is, he's coming up well over 50,000 damage. Now 1.2 million health. Nice accuracy. Superb dodge. Moltanica is a hero that I would call simply fun. He's interesting to play around with. He is still one of the most skilled debuffers in the game. But there are heroes that do elements of this, or perhaps two heroes in tandem that can do all of these things and do them far better than Moltanica. He's just fun. Aries. Aries is our next hero. Aries takes away the energy and the ability of our enemies to use their skill. That is something that has become less and less effective as the game has gone on. Many heroes are immune to his ability or have fast energy recovery. It can be difficult to use Aries in today's game towards the latter stages of Castle Clash. When I do need to use him, or if I want to use him, Revitalize, just like Cupid, in some way becomes a game changer, something that the entire battle can turn on. I need to have him activate his skill immediately. When I'm doing that, I typically need to provide him stun immunity. Say something like in the dungeons, like with Cupid. So it is those two that are working in tandem. When giving him the stun, the Iron Will, he gets a really nice damage bonus. I think very much like Moltanica, there's really no such thing as a damage-dealing Aries in today's game. We are trying to get him to activate his skill multiple times to suppress the energy and skill activation of the enemy over a duration. That could be 2 minutes, that could be 3. It's important to allow him that opportunity. And so we have to look more towards survival, things that are going to keep him alive throughout the battle. And survival gives him the chance to heal. You can run this with, say, a Sacred Light. And now, because instant skill activation isn't such a big deal, you can run him in a Guild Wars attack and keep him alive the entire time. I've got him with Holy Conviction. He is not an innate healer, but the 40% damage reduction is tremendous. Mostly dodge. Keep him out of danger. He's coming in at almost 44,000 damage, well over 1.1 million health. Nice accuracy, very good dodge. Aries is a hero that has a preferred use in the first half of this game. Not essential, but preferred. Makes certain game modes easier, certain tasks easier. Aries has a more so a fun use during the latter parts of this game. When you're reaching endgame, there is nothing that turns on the fact that Aries is operating. Certainly, he can have his uses, and he can be fun to experiment with. But with so many heroes being immune to these conditions, he becomes less and less effective. Next, we have Vlad Dracula. Vlad does a great job healing himself. Vlad does a good job at causing damage to those around him. In order to help him, I have a Sacred Light. Now, the Sacred Light is because he is a healer. He will have, with the Sacred Light, already his innate healing ability. That Sacred Light is going to allow me to use him in an offensive way. I can actually use Vlad with this kind of a setup. With the 9 regen, get a big attack bonus, huge healing increase, really nice energy gain. Works very well with the increased health pool from Sacred Light. Holy Conviction, he is a healer. And because of that, he's going to get a 100% increase. In addition to the regen, these all add or stack with one another. More damage reduction. But he is still an older hero. And if you're playing him in the latter part of the game, I would recommend dodge. It is better that he does not get hit than to absorb a lot of punishment. And there's really no such thing as a damage-dealing Vlad at that point. I have survival as his totally defensive build. If I want him to last a super long time, a whole battle, I'll go with survival, and I would go with something like a Sacred Light because there is no damage dealing capability really for Vlad Dracula at the end stages of the game. Let's go back to, was that a regen? Very good. Okay, he's coming in at about 42,000, 53,000 health, or excuse me, 53,000 damage. His health is about 1.2 million. He does regain health very well, especially with that survival option, giving him now another set of healing in addition to all those healing bonuses. And with the dodge, he's going to take a heck of a lot less damage. Vlad is a hero that is fun to use, by no means a essential hero. Second half of the game, not even a preferred hero. First half of the game can be a preferred hero in things like Here Be Monsters. Does serve a good purpose in the earlier stages of Here Be Monsters. Next, we have Death Knight. Death Knight is a hero that provides a shield against some bad status going to happen, some bad thing going to happen. He's going to provide a shield. He also does a little bit of damage around him. There's no such thing as a damage-dealing Death Knight at endgame. There's no such thing as a Death Knight that's going to make or break any stage of the game. But if you want to use him, and you want to have fun with him, and you want him to last the whole battle, go with survival. Give him the chance to heal and negate damage outright for essentially 40% of the time he's on the board. Go with a Sacred Light, big stat boost, as well as extra health and more damage reduction. Holy Conviction, going to give him the chance to reduce damage. If he, through survival, a healing pet, or a healer on your team, he is healing under those circumstances, he's going to get a 100% healing bonus. Almost all dodge. Same thing like many of the other heroes that we've looked at. Better that they keep away from danger than to be able to absorb it. He's coming in at almost 50,000 damage, well over 1.2 million health. Nice dodge. Very low accuracy, but we're not really using him in that sense because he is granting our heroes a status. He's not messing with that. Okay, Orksbane. Orksbane's next. Orksbane has no cooldown. No need to recharge his skill in between activations. We must take advantage of that. He is one of the few that have that ability. So we're going to give him Empower, going to give him a lot of extra health, going to give him a ton of energy. He will continue to activate his skill as long as he is hitting something. He is not auto proc, so he can't just sit there on your base. He has to actually be attacking. He is a healer of himself and others. Now he's got 130% greater ability to heal. That added with the energy regain is going to make his no cooldown even more effective. Let him heal even more effectively and give him some damage reduction with the Holy Conviction. Dodge, keep him out of trouble. He's coming in well over 50,000 damage. He's got 1.2 plus million health, real high dodge rate, not bad in terms of accuracy. The heal that he provides will not miss. Next, Santa Boom. Santa Boom does some base damage. He does some degree of hero damage. By the end stages of the game, there is no such thing as a damage-dealing Santa Boom. None of the heroes at that level are going to be killed by Santa Boom's rocket blasts. If you're using Santa Boom in any capacity, it would be to do base damage in something like a raid, perhaps an advanced dungeon, perhaps a forgotten trial. Let him activate that skill multiple times during the course of an entire battle. It will then require a defensive build. If you're trying to smash up buildings, Santa's innate damage dealing capability will do that. Typically, one shot, the building will go down. So allow him to do that multiple times with defensive builds. Sacred Light, keep this man high in health, reducing damage. With the skin, sort of like Vlad Dracula. With the skin and the chance to have 2 talents, we can run an offensive Santa Boom, but it's going to have to start with a defensive talent. I have found that a Wicked Armor is a great way, offensively, to get the damage up with that damage multiplier as well as the damage statistical bonus, but also it runs as a defensive talent, a defensive insignia. It's going to mitigate the reflect damage that typically kills Santa Boom at that point in the game. It's running like an offensive Sacred Light, if you will, and works very, very well. He does live, and he does knock people out with that kind of a build. If you need to keep him alive, you've got to go with a survival. If you're having any problems with survivability, give him the chance to heal and outright negate damage. Go in here with a Sacred Light. Now running it this way, we get an even bigger boost. Holy Conviction. He is not an innate healer, but 40% damage reduction makes Holy Conviction worth it. Dodge. Keep him out of danger. He is a sniper. He can attack from a distance. He does not have to get right up in the face of the enemy. Give him distance. He is a base damaging sniper. And buildings don't dodge. Buildings don't get out of the way of danger. So accuracy is something that has very little effect on Santa Boom. He's going to hit those buildings no matter what. He's coming in at about 52,000 damage, about 1.3 million health. Again, we're not worried about accuracy, but we are worried about keeping him alive and blowing up a base over the course of 2 minutes. That's going to require dodge. First half of the game, Santa can be very helpful in dungeon, raiding, guild wars, anything where base damage becomes an option. If you have a minnow, you will be using Santa less and less, if perhaps not at all. But in many ways, Santa can be very helpful at that point in the game. So a preferred hero first half. Second half of the game, a fun hero to play around with. Pixie. Pixie is a hero that heals. She snipes and does a little bit of damage. I think probably in today's game, most importantly, she removes debuffs. So bad things that have happened to us that make us weaker, she'll take those away. She does not have a skin, so I'm going to have to run her with survival. It's the only way to keep her alive and effective in any kind of an extended game mode. Negate damage, give her a second heal. That's important. I'm running her with a Sacred Light. This would be, if you will, kind of her defensive build. By running her with a regen, I can deeply increase the heal. Almost perhaps too much, where it exceeds her health pool. But also get her attack up. So there are ways to use Pixie in today's game, and she can be extremely effective. But it needs to begin with a defensive build, with an eye towards healing and damage reduction. Speaking of, let's get damage reduction and extra healing with Holy Conviction. Wonderful for a self-healer. Very good for a team healer. In certain cases, like with an older hero that has a survivability issue in today's game, it could be an option and one that you should explore. Mostly dodge. I'd rather she not get hit. No such thing as a damage-dealing Pixie. And like many of the heroes that we have looked at, most of the heroes that we have looked at, she is just a fun hero to play around with. There is no door in Castle Clash that is closed to you if you don't have a Pixie. About 48,000 health or damage, about 1.25 million health. Real nice dodge, decent accuracy. Now, she is a sniper, and she does have that sniping ability, and accuracy will help with that. It will help her to hit heroes that have a high dodge rate. But there's no such thing as a damage-dealing Pixie. The damage she does will be so low, so ineffective, or so immediately canceled by a heal from the enemy that it makes anything in the area of damage really a lost cause. Give her the chance to at least survive the battle and stay out of harm's way. Next, we have Siren. Siren is a hero that provides a big damage multiplier. Our enemy takes more damage as long as Siren continues to activate her skill. She is an absolutely essential hero. There is only one other hero that can do what Siren does, and in the game mode you need these two. You got to use both at the same time. So Siren is an essential hero on an Archdemon team. Archdemon can be run effectively, but cannot be run for any kind of record scores unless you have a Siren running. Siren has no skin. We have to use the talent that is designed for her only use, Archdemon. So we're going to run Sunder as her main talent, giving her the chance in the Archdemon mode, giving her the chance to deal an extra hit in combat. In a damage cap mode, it is the cumulative total of all of our separate hits that will define our score, not her ability to do damage based on one hit. I'm running her with a 9 Brawler's Favor. The Archdemon has no Warden faction or affiliation. Any of the Favor's talents will have the same effect against the Archdemon. We choose Brawlers because of its large damage multiplier and the huge damage increase that we get to Siren's base damage. Of the Favor talents, it is still, even at level 9, it is still the preferred insignia for a Archdemon hero like Siren. And with Sunder, it is still the preferred talent. I'm running her with a Pyromage. Just like Pumpkin Duke, I want an extra helper in battle to get those scores up. All attack. I want her to hit maximum damage cap of 500,000 per hit, and I want her to sustain that kind of damage. She is coming up at 54,000 damage. She is about 1.1 million health. None of these have been augmented that are on display here because I put everything into damage. She's a damage dealer and an increaser of our enemy's damage. Absolutely essential for the game mode of Archdemon, which second half of the game is something that you would get into much, much more, and it's something that I would highly recommend. Next, we have Destroyer. Destroyer is a hero that does several things. He deflects damage. He boosts his attack speed. He stuns people. And he provides an area of damage around him. Problem is, Destroyer does all of these things very poorly. Make your heroes better at what it is they do best. There's a reason that we have 80 heroes plus in the game of Castle Clash. There's a reason that a hero comes out every month. It is to provide a new, unique hero. To fill a new space in the hero compendium. Our heroes are not designed like one another. They are designed to be different from one another. Destroyer has far better counterparts in the game of Castle Clash. So in order to actually use him, to enjoy using Destroyer, we've got to focus in on the one or two things that he does best. It's the only way we can make him the best hero that he can be. I have decided to put aside his deflection ability completely. I am not concerned at all with the deflect or damage that he is sending back at the enemy. He will still negate the damage that he is taking through deflection. Deflection being the negation of that percentage of damage. Then instead of you taking it, your enemy takes it in addition. Reflection being you take the damage, but in addition you send it back. So the deflection is going to stop him from taking damage. Let's help him stop damage even more by giving survival and the ability to heal. It's the only way we're going to keep this guy alive. Forget the inherent deflect against enemies. There's no deflect going to take these enemies out in today's game. That comes from Destroyer. We are going to also boost up his ability to get the attack speed going and to continually stun and do area damage by keeping him alive. The Sacred Light, give him a big stat boost, give him a big health and damage reduction quality. He is an innate healer by the fact that he has a 5 life drain built into him. Very nice for Holy Conviction. It's now doubled. In addition, he's getting a 40% damage reduction. We aren't doing something like this on Atlanticore, who we looked at the last video. Atlanticore deflects, just like Destroyer. But Atlanticore, by endgame, is used to put up his shield, kill the bad guys on the board, and then die. This guy, at least give him the chance to heal. We are going to also forget about the deflect. We can't do that with Atlanticore. That's his only use. We're going to forget about the deflect and go with just dodge. Let this man stay out of harm's way. There is a, before I get onto the attributes, there is a theory, a mode of thought that I subscribed to for a very, very long time when it came to Destroyer. And it is the following. If you give him, let's say, at this point, a 9 Berserk or a Unbridled Fury, both will deeply increase his attack speed. Now, that pairs very well with his attack speed boost that he gets through skill, and it will allow his life drain to be more effective. The more hits he gets, the more life he's going to drain. But we have gotten to a point now where a level 5 life drain only does so much. If you are truly interested in making Destroyer a life drainer, then friend, give him level 9 life drain, okay? It will cancel out the inherent level 5, but who cares? Level 5's too low in today's game. It goes up to 9. So augmenting his attack speed and putting all of these options into making him a faster Destroyer will not, in the end, benefit me through the life drain method. With a 5-second cooldown as well, he is prevented from continually activating his skill. 50,000 damage, a little over 1.2 million health. Nice dodge. He is a fun hero to play around with. By no means a preferred hero or essential in any way in the game of Castle Clash. Okay, our last hero for today, Hero 24. We have ourselves Warlock. Warlock is an amazing hero. Warlock is one of those rare, off the top of my head, maybe I can mention 2. Warlock is one of the 2 heroes in my mind who, by endgame and full upgrade, has become a beast. Anything less than full upgrade, maxed out, you're not going to do well with Warlock in today's game. So, an effective hero in the first half of the game. Then when you enter into the second half of the game, you're going to find that he's no longer effective unless you take him to max level everything. And once you do that, you're going to find how amazing he truly is. He takes on a brand new life. Warlock is an auto proc hero, the first hero in the compendium to be introduced as an auto proc hero. Warlock can sit on your base, let's say during a Guild Wars defense. Simply sit there and continually activate his skill. He does not have to be under attack of any kind. His skill will remain operating for nearly the entire time that he's sitting there on the base. This is why Empower is a major foundational talent to have. It is going to allow you to choose so many other things during a base defense situation. He is a base defender. He does a great job at slowing down movement speed, but he also gives 4 out of the 6 of your heroes the ability to deflect damage. That negates the damage, and whatever damage would have been taken is going back to our opponents. He also gives you an immunity to a negative thing happening, and does so over a period of 5 seconds. The cooldown 6, for only 1 second will Warlock skill not be operating. Amazing base defender. With the Empower, I find that in many ways a Wicked Armor provides a Sacred Light effect, and far more efficiently. It's going to get his attack up, certainly, and he is capable of damage in today's game. And it's also going to reduce the reflect damage that he takes. That can kill him. I find this to be a great thing to be running as the Insignia. And with a 7,078 base damage addition, it makes it the perfect Insignia choice when running him as a base defender using Empower. If I want this man to be going the whole battle in an attack scenario, I want to at least give him the ability to negate damage. He's got to have that. He negating the damage is not going to affect his skill ability. Now, if he is the one receiving the deflect, he's not going to be deflecting if he's negating damage. But everybody else on your team that's affected will be. That's his purpose. Not to give the skill just to himself, but to give it to the entire team. I want to keep him alive and let him continually operate skill-wise. Something like a Sacred Light, because if I am going to give him the ability to heal and negate damage with a survival, I'm probably going to be running him in a full defensive setup like this. Holy Conviction. He is not an innate healer, but if he is sitting on a Guild Wars defense base, if he's my base defender, I'm going to have operating healing pets and or heroes that have the ability to heal. Also, if I had that survival, then running with an Empower, or the Empower running with a survival, he's going to be healing. Best part of it all is the reduction of damage. Help to keep him alive. That reduction of damage will interfere with his own personal deflect. He'll be deflecting less damage. But his purpose is to give the deflect to your whole team. Mostly dodge. Again, problem with the personal deflect, but I'm not using him in that way. I'm using him to give deflect to the team, to the 4 out of 6 on the team during the point of his skill activation. Let's put him back the way he was in this mode. Very good. Let's take a look at his stats. 52,000 damage. 1.12 million health. Lot of dodge. I'm trying to keep Warlock alive. I'm trying to let Warlock do what he does best, and that is to provide that skill ability of deflection and a status immunity, to provide that to your team. The basis of that for an auto proc hero is going to be Empower and Wicked Armor or Sacred Light, depending on the hero, or if you want to use them in a general game mode where Empower and auto procking is not such a concern, give him the chance to heal, then give him a little damage reduction. All of it goes great with the Holy Conviction. Heck of a base defender. Heck of a hero Fantastic. I'm going to go and say that Warlock is a fun hero the first half of the game. And you say, oh, that was neat today with Warlock. He becomes a preferred hero second half of the game. Not essential, not where he's the first go-to guy you're thinking of. But when second half of the game, or when you're reaching end game, when he's fully maxed out, when you get to your part in the altar where Warlock resides, you smile. And you say, you know what? Today's a Warlock day. This is going to be fun. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to check you on the next video on part 3, where I will go through the next dozen heroes in the game of Castle Clash. Happy clashing. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.